2022, Missouri's trigger law made it the first in the country to ban abortion after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. But after November's vote, abortion is once again the law of the land.
Unfortunately, the babies are going to start dying in Missouri again.
Passed by a narrow margin of 51%, Amendment 3 enshrines abortion in the state constitution and allows the procedure to be performed up to birth.
Amendment 3 is more extreme than Illinois, California, New York. It would be the most extreme abortion law on the books in the entire nation.
Less than 24 hours after the votes were counted, Planned Parenthood at the ACLU filed a lawsuit asking the court to declare multiple pro-life laws unconstitutional.
They're going after some health department oversight on the abortion industry. They're wanting to remove restrictions on race and sex-selective abortions in Missouri. So they want the ability to kill children simply because they are black or female.
Amendment 3 also opens Missouri to women seeking abortions from neighboring states like Arkansas and Oklahoma, where the procedure is banned.
Things like this that happen in one state don't just impact that state. This is something that, for so many surrounding states, especially given some of the central locality, it's now something that many of the people come to that state.
Pro-life groups here are now turning to the Republican-controlled state legislature, where the new amendment is expected to be the main issue when the assembly convenes in January. State Representative Justin Sparks is ready to lead the charge.
I'm doing this because I'm convicted that I must do this. I believe that I prayed about this, I considered it prayerfully, and I believe that I'm called to do this.
Sparks plans to challenge presumed House Speaker and fellow Republican John Patterson, who declared before the vote that lawmakers should respect the people's choice. Sparks believes the people were duped.
The voting public only sees 50 words on the ballot. And after people voted, interviews showed overwhelmingly that most people thought that Amendment 3 was about things like contraception and contraceptives and in vitro fertilization and ectopic pregnancies. And most had no idea that what we were actually talking about was unrestricted taxpayer-funded abortion.
If elected Speaker in this uphill battle, Sparks wants to tackle Amendment 3 by helping get specific legislation restricting abortion on the ballot in 2 years.
So we would identify what legislation, how we were going to tackle Amendment 3, what we can actually do to completely deconstruct Amendment 3 from our Constitution and replace it with a great framework, a guiding framework that would in fact outlaw abortion in the state of Missouri again.
The abortion ban across America's heartland has also been impacting Planned Parenthood. According to the St. Louis Business Journal, this Joplin, Missouri clinic was set to close January 1st, along with 2 more facilities in St. Louis. But now that Amendment 3 is passed, all that could change.
They would invest in those clinics because not only would Amendment 3 provide abortions to start back up again, physical abortions back up in Missouri again, but without any restriction. So any injury or death that occurs from an abortion, that provider is now free from liability. And when you talk about removing liability, a place like Planned Parenthood sees huge dollar signs because now they will no longer be under the threat or possibility of being sued for malpractice.
The new amendment still faces a legal fight as a number of state lawmakers and elected officials are looking for ways to overturn it.
Amendment 3 is going to be in the courts. It is being challenged, and all of the current statutes that we have in place are apparently in conflict with this new constitutional amendment. And the constitutional amendment, Amendment 3, is so broad and vague, nobody knows what statutes are actually effective.
Regardless of what happens in the legislature, Jacobs believes the ultimate strategy to stopping abortion is creating a cultural shift, which he says starts with the church.
What we saw was more churches than I expected raising their voice against Amendment 3 from the pulpit, but we also saw a lot of churches that kept silent too.
One of the things I think was also reflected with some of the polling that we've seen is how many Christians support abortion without restriction, and I think it's really more of an indictment on the church.
I believe that, what we do here on earth has echoes in eternity. Yeah. I truly believe it. And if we don't stand for those that cannot stand for themselves, if we don't speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. God will not hold us blameless.
That's right.